All right, Paris Olympic Games, women's 100-meter dash, here to give my predictions of the top three as we look forward to, again, similar to like I said with the men, this is a culmination of the entire season, from national championships to diamond leagues to one-off races. All those things are coming to a head here at the Paris Olympic Games in the 100-meter final for the women. And relative to the men, I think this is actually a little bit, clearer cut. Not to say like the top three is clear cut, but I think that there's more clear favorites in the women's 100-meter dash than there are on the men's side. The men's side is just like, in my opinion, up in the air. So go check out that video and the predictions I did there. But similar to the men, I'm going to give you kind of my, thought process of like what the implications mean for each athlete. You can check out some of the, videos that I've done already on the women's 100-meter dash and what I thought about the entire field. But let's dive into some of these women who are kind of the top players as we look forward to the Paris Olympics. Now, first off, you have Shericka Jackson. Let's talk about Shericka, where she is the silver medalist from the World Championships last year, silver medalist from the World Championships in 2022, and bronze medalist from the Olympic Games in 2021. Now, this year, she's run a best of 10.84 seconds, has a PB of 10.65 from last year. But some big kind of question marks at the moment, where she maybe got injured. They said it might be just a cramp. Early in the season, she started a little bit slower, but then at Jamaican trials, I think she turned up. And after that, I was like, yo, Shericka is good. Like, I think she's going to be ready to contend for a gold medal in the 100, et cetera, et cetera. But then in Hungary, at one of the Continental Tour meets, she kind of pulled up a little bit just before the finish line in the 200. And that raised a few more questions. Again, maybe injury, maybe, cramp, who knows? But we haven't seen her compete since then. Now, as we look forward to the Paris Olympics, this is a big moment for Shericka because she has been working to get a gold medal in the 100-meter dash since she switched over to become a short sprinter. She has those in the 200. She's, probably arguably one of the greatest of all time in the 200, but the 100 meters has been kind of, one of her, barriers that she needs to get over. This is going to be big for her because there's a lot of younger women who I'll talk about in a moment who are really on the rise and are at the same level or maybe even slightly better to a degree, right? At least more consistent to a degree this year. So this is going to be really tough. I think that Shericka, I don't know. I don't want to say she needs to get the gold medal, but I think that, she's already been silver. She's already been bronze. She's already got those. This is her time to get a gold medal, and she's really going to have to perform. So I hope that she's healthy. I hope that she's ready. I think that Shericka is going to be ready to be able to get on the podium. I'll give you my predictions at the end. You can check that out. But this is going to be a big, big moment for her. If she doesn't get on the podium, that's going to be a really, really big blow to whether it's like Jamaican fans or whether it's like, just international fans like myself. That's really going to be tough because, we all want to see Shericka get on that podium and not have to deal with some injuries. But we'll see with Shericka. Next one is Sha'Carri Richardson. Hold up. Before we get to the rest of the video, y'all know that I'm going to be on the ground holding it down with the CITIUS MAG team in Paris. And we've got all the coverage that you need for track and field from August 1st all the way to August 11th. We've got daily recaps, podcasts, interviews, newsletters, constant updates on social, all powered by ASICS, and you don't want to miss any of it. So go in the description. I've got all the links you need to stay up to date with everything that the CITIUS MAG team has. So let's get back to the video, y'all. Sha'Carri, you can argue, has been the most consistent 100-meter sprinter over the past 2 years or so. Of course, she's a gold medalist at the World Championships last year. This year, she has a world-leading performance at 10.71 seconds from USA's. She, beat probably the toughest field this year when talking about the Prefontaine Classic, running, I think it was 10.8 seconds there. So she's been the most consistent overall. And she's had a relatively measured approach to the season where, yes, she ran a couple 200s early on in China. Then she's only run a couple 100-meter dashes, right? USA's, Prefontaine, and then she's been pretty reserved. So I think that she's taking a much more, again, reserved approach to this season. And this is going to be tough in terms of like implications, right? Let's say that she gets the gold medal. Justifies everything, right? She didn't make it to the Olympics in 2021 because of those, the setbacks and getting banned. But then she made it to the World Championships in 2023, got the gold medal. And I think it'll just be further justification to say, okay, Sha'Carri has arrived. In my opinion, she's already arrived, but this is really gonna, solidify things. People saying, of course, that Vogue article, like, Olympian Sha'Carri Richardson. She's not an Olympian yet. She hasn't made, like, come on, yeah. Regardless, this will at least shut a couple people up and just like justify the work that she's been putting in. But if she doesn't get on the podium, that will kind of bring a lot more backlash because it's unfortunate, but I think Sha'Carri is kind of like a polarizing figure where people either love her or hate her or whatever it is. And, she's kind of built up this image where she's going to be working hard and she's not going to, deal with all this other stuff in the background, that kind of tries to put her down. So if she doesn't get on the podium, I think a lot of people are unfortunately going to be talking, and it's really going to kind of feed into the narrative that, oh, Sha'Carri can't perform sometimes, even though she got the gold medal last year. But that's Sha'Carri Richardson. I think she's in a good position, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. Now, the other woman who I think these are kind of the top 3 favorites. I think Julien Alfred is that other favorite. I didn't give you my top 3 order yet, but Julien Alfred is kind of a strong athlete here, where she's run 10.78 seconds this year, personal best. She just came off the, I think it was the Diamond League in Paris, where she got the 100-meter win there. She's been running some very consistent 200s, and she is in the form of her life. Again, personal best in the 100, personal best in the 200 already as well, and she's proving that she could win this gold medal. And I don't know if there's as much pressure on Julien Alfred as there is on Shericka Jackson or Sha'Carri Richardson. I don't think there's as much pressure because she just came out of NCAA last year. She's competing for St. Lucia, and it's not this USA versus Jamaica. She can kind of fly under the radar. So Julien Alfred, I think she's in a very good position to maybe come out of quote-unquote nowhere in a sense and just like surprise people. While everyone's eyes are on Sha'Carri, everyone's eyes are on Shericka, everyone's eyes are on, you know, Shelly-Ann and all these other people, Julien Alfred could just like perform, do her best, and then maybe get on the podium, right? Maybe get the gold medal. So win-win situation, I think, overall, whether she gets gold, silver, or bronze, or even if she finishes kind of 4th place. I think the only kind of big blemish would be if she finished much farther down the pack. If she finished like 6th, 7th, or didn't make the final or something like that, then people would, in my opinion, would be like, whoa, like what happened to Julien Alfred? But I think she's in a very good position. Now, outside of that, we have a couple other women. Dina Asher-Smith. Dina Asher-Smith, she's been, you know, had some ups and downs where the only 100-meter medal that she's ever gotten was 2019 at the World Championships in Doha, got the silver medal behind Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. This year, she's kind of been on the comeback in a sense, where last year didn't go well for her, didn't get on the podium in any capacity. The previous Olympic Games, she also didn't get on the podium in any capacity, dealt with some injuries there, except for the 4x1. But this year, again, switching coaches to, you know, Coach Flo in Texas, this has really been a pretty good, steady year for her. She's gotten to a season's best of 10.99 seconds. She, of course, has a personal best of 10.83, which she ran when she got the silver medal at the Doha World Championships. I think this is going to be a big year for her, big Olympics for her, where if she gets on the podium, this will justify things. I don't know if anyone is expecting her to get the gold medal or looking and saying, oh, Dina, get the gold medal. Like, I don't know if that much pressure is on her, but I do feel like there's a little bit of pressure for her to get on the podium, only because she hasn't been as consistent in the 100 meters relative to previous years. But I think, in my opinion, I think she has the potential to get on the podium, but I also say that if she doesn't get on, I personally am not going to, you know, say that, oh, she choked or she faltered or anything. The field is stacked. So Dina in a kind of mixed position where she hasn't done as well relative to previous years, but she's really coming into her own. She's really kind of building back up to the quote-unquote Dina that we've used to, you know, seeing getting on the podiums in previous championships. So we'll see what happens and what plays out with Dina Asher-Smith. Another one we have, Marie-Josée Ta-Lou. Now, this is a tough mix because Marie has, man, she's definitely gotten 4th and 5th and 6th in a couple different places over the past couple seasons where she's been, you know, man, she's been off the podium for a couple times. Yes, dating back to 2017 where she got the, you know, the silver medal in the 100, 2019 she got the bronze medal in the 100, but the last Olympics she got the 4th place there in Tokyo. And people kind of criticize her because she doesn't run well, quote unquote, through the rounds, where she'll run fast in the opening rounds, the heats and the semis, but then not perform when it gets to finals, right? I keep saying quote unquote because I feel like she does well. She definitely does her best, but this will be kind of tough where this is going to be her, she's similar in age to, you know, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, so if she doesn't get on the podium at the Olympics here, like I said with Shericka, there's a lot of young women who are kind of coming up that might be taking the spot of Marie-Josée Ta-Lou. This might be her final Olympic Games, so we'll see how things kind of play out for Ta-Lou. I really hope that she gets on the podium. We'll see, but yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough there. So let's talk about Shelly-Ann, who's, again, she's the veteran of the Olympic Games here. She's the veteran of the women's 100-meter dash here. 2-time Olympic champion from 2008 and 2012. She's been on the podium in 2016 with the bronze and 2021 with the silver. So she's been here. And of course, in my opinion, the GOAT of the women's 100-meter dash. Now, let's say that I think it's a win-win for Shelly-Ann either way. If she gets on the podium, she further solidifies herself as the GOAT of the women's 100-meter dash. Let's say that she doesn't get on the podium, she can at least say that she made, you know, her 5th Olympic Games and she's going to go out as, again, the GOAT of the 100 meters, where she made the final and she can solidify herself as, you know, go out on top. So I think that Shelly-Ann is in a good position to win-win either way. She's only run, what, 10.91 seconds this year, so not nearly as fast. And what she pulled out of, I think, the Luzerne 100-meter dash, so who knows what her status of her health is. But in my opinion, Shelly has already solidified herself. So this Olympic Games is just going to be icing on the cake regardless of the outcome. Huge shout outs to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. We have Melissa Jefferson. She's run a personal best of 10.80 seconds this year. She ran 10.8 a couple times throughout the season, and she got 2nd place at USA's behind Sha'Carri Richardson. I think that she's in a good position to really make her case as one of the more consistent athletes globally with this Olympic Games if she's able to get on the podium. She is kind of flying under the radar because you have Sha'Carri and Shericka and Julien and all these other women, even Dina. But I do think that Melissa is in a good position to potentially get on the podium. And if she does, that will kind of justify all the work that she's been putting in since she was at Coastal Carolina, since she won USA's in 2022 running, you know, a little bit of a windy 10-7. All those kind of aspects are going to come into play and kind of culminate in this moment. She's in a very good position. Don't sleep on Melissa Jefferson. Along with her, we have Twanisha Terry. Twanisha Terry has been here before in terms of, you know, global championships. She made it in 2022 in the 100-meter dash. She's never made the final, but she has a little bit of experience, right? Always running on the relays and all those kind of things. Twanisha Terry, she has a personal best of 10.82 and a season's best of 10.89. She really showed up at USA Championships, at USA Trials, and I think that she's in a good position to maybe contend for things. We'll see how things kind of play out when we get to, you know, the Olympic game final, but she's in a very good position. I think that she's making some steady progress. She has potential to run like a 10-7, but we'll see if that actually comes into fruition. Along with that, and I think in the same realm as someone like a Twanisha Terry or some of the others, we have Tia Clayton. Tia Clayton arguably has some of those, like, the top contenders here. She's the youngest, right? She's still 19 years old, coming to the Olympic Games. She's run, what, 10.86 seconds, huge personal best to get second place behind Shericka Jackson at trials. I think she has no pressure, where she's still young. Similar to, like I said about Kashane in the men's 100-meter dash video, Tia Clayton is young, she's rising, she made her first Olympic Games. Let's say that she doesn't even make the final. Doesn't matter, she has a long, long future ahead of her. Let's say she makes the final and doesn't get on the podium. Same thing, she has a huge future. Let's say she gets on the podium, that will be a huge, huge win for her, regardless of what the color of the medal is. So Tia Clayton, not much pressure in my opinion. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. And then after that, I think for the most part, some of the other women are still in the conversation and really are strong contenders, where you have Mujinka Kambunji from Switzerland. She's run 10.90 seconds this year, right? You have Gina Bass, you have Daryl Nita, Iwa Soboda, right? Zainab Doso, Rosemary Chukuma, right? All these women are kind of in the conversation to potentially get on the podium and to really kind of mix things up. But let me get into my podium. Let me give you my top 3, and I'll give you even my top 10 just in terms of like the top players who I think are going to be able to make the final, and then one person I don't think is going to make the final. One of the big things to remember is I do truly value experience, but then I do also take into consideration things like health and injuries, and then also kind of your trajectory through the year. And like I said at the top, I do think the women's 100-meter dash is a little more clear-cut in terms of the top 3, but my number 1, I'm giving to Sha'Carri Richardson. I think her consistency this year has just been unmatched, and really even dating back to last year where she was dominating on the Diamond League circuit. She was winning multiple Diamond Leagues, and I think she just continued that through that with this year. She's run 10.71, world leader. She seems super confident, and I really think that she's going to come off that world championship gold from last year and just going to carry it through at the Olympic Games this year. So that's what I'm looking at for the gold medal, Sha'Carri Richardson. After that, we're looking at Julien Alfred. Now, Julien Alfred, in my opinion, I think that she is coming into the form of her life, where she is competing with the best in the world. She's winning 100-meter dash races. She's running personal best. She is really in the mix. And like I said, she's kind of like a quiet killer in a sense, where people are focused on Sha'Carri, people are focused on Shericka, people are focused on Shelly-Ann and Dina. Julien Alfred is just kind of doing her thing. And she is really, I think, going to solidify herself here. Finally get onto the podium for the first time. Finally kind of like bring some pride and some celebration to St. Lucia, getting their first Olympic medal ever in the 100-meter dash in any event, I think, for the most part, right? So Julien Alfred for the silver medal, and then I do have Shericka for the bronze medal. Now, this, of course, hinges on her health. I don't know what her health status is. Again, I really hope that that pull-up was just a cramp, but we'll kind of see how things play out. But I still do think that she's going to be able to get on the podium. Bronze isn't going to be the medal that she would want, right? Everyone is going to want that gold medal, and she's gotten bronze at the Tokyo Olympics last year. But just kind of comparing how the progression of the season has gone for Sha'Carri as well as for Julien Alfred, I think that Shericka is unfortunately not going to be able to surpass them. But it's not to disparage her. I think that this is going to be very fast. I think that someone is going to run 10-7 in this race and maybe not get on the podium. I think that all 3 of these women, Sha'Carri, Julien, and Shericka, are going to be able to run 10-7 or faster. And I think that someone else is going to run 10-7 and not get on the podium. I do have Dina Asher-Smith in 4th place, and then Shelly-Ann in 5th place. Shelly-Ann, man, it's just tough because of the injuries, the setbacks, pulling out of Luzerne. The only thing is that Shelly-Ann is going to find a way to get in the final and then challenge for a podium spot. I really think that she's going to be able to do it, but it's just the reality of the matter where age waits for no one, right? Age waits for no one, and I think that some of these younger women are just going to be able to really show their cards. But in my opinion, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is the GOAT of the 100-meter dash. Now, Dina Asher-Smith, I do have her in 4th place. I think she's just going to miss the podium. It's going to be a little challenging, but I think she's going to be in the mix. And then Marie-Josée Talou, Melissa Jefferson, right, Twanisha Terry, Kambunji, as well as Tia Clayton. I think that they're all kind of just going to be in the mix there. I do think that Melissa, Marie, Shelly-Ann, those are kind of going to be a little bit closer. And then behind them, I do think that TT Terry, Kambunji, Tia Clayton, they're going to be a little bit closer. And I think that Tia Clayton won't make the final. I have her in 10th place here, so she wouldn't make the final. But who knows? This is going to be her first Olympics, her first global championships in any capacity. She's young, so she still has a very, very bright future. Now, go ahead, debate me in the comments. This is just my opinion. In overall, I think things are very, very close with the top 3, but you can debate me in the comments. Sha'Carri Richardson, I think she's going to get that gold medal. Julien Alfred, going to get the silver. Shericka Jackson, going to get the bronze medal. Let me know who your top 3 for this women's 100-meter dash at the Olympic Games is going to be. And man, this is going to be very, very competitive, very exciting, but I am all here for it. Let me know what you think. Always appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.